Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are cracking the code on a material whose historical importance is, well, it's literally baked into its English name.
Right.
We're talking about porcelain.
Which, of course, we also call China.
Exactly. We call it China. And that name connection is really the perfect starting point for this.
It is. And our mission today is to analyze the incredible technical evolution that made it possible.
Right, the chemistry.
The chemistry, what fundamental problems it actually solved for civilization, and then, the massive cultural and economic shockwave it sent across the globe.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Before porcelain, we just have standard pottery.
Yeah, soft, rough, and crucially porous.
Porous, because it was fired at low temperatures, right?
Right.
Maybe 800 to 1,000 degrees Celsius.
That's it. So the great leap that gets you from that porous mud to what they called white gold,
What was it?
it was two things, really. First, the right ingredient. You have to move beyond common clay to this very high-purity kaolin clay.
Okay, and that brings us to the second element, which has to be the heat.
It's all about the heat. This clay can withstand immense temperatures without melting, and that's the jump.
We're talking about an extreme increase here, aren't we?
A huge increase. True porcelain needs a sustained 1,200 degrees Celsius or higher. Some high-grade stuff goes up to 1,350.
Wow. Okay, so let's unpack that. What did that extra heat actually achieve that 1,000 degrees couldn't?
It solved two fundamental human problems, strength and hygiene.
Strength and hygiene. How?
Well, first, the heat helps form these hard, sort of needle-like mullite crystals inside the porcelain.
Which makes it incredibly strong.
Vastly tougher than anything else being made. But then there's the other problem, porosity.
Right. Old pottery absorbs water, grime.
Hmm.
It's hard to store food safely.
Exactly. But that intense heat, it starts a process called vitrification.
The body essentially turns to glass.
It turns to glass, yeah. That glassy phase seals up every single internal pore.
So it's waterproof.
It's totally waterproof. The water absorption is less than 0.5%. That makes it incredibly hygienic.
And this whole revolutionary process, we know it was first pulled off during the late Eastern Han Dynasty in the Zhejiang region.
That's right. And that technical monopoly eventually became a global economic engine.
Here's where it gets really interesting. How did this hard, non-porous material completely rewrite global economics?
It became this perfect dual-function item on the maritime Silk Road. It was, of course, highly valuable cargo,
Sure.
but it was also so dense and sturdy, it could be used as ballast for the ships.
Oh, that's really clever.
Yeah.
It lowers shipping risk and cost at the same time.
And that made it the most dominant trade good for centuries.
And that flow of porcelain, it fundamentally altered economies.
Absolutely. The demand for it created these immense trade surpluses for China. This led to a massive inflow of silver, especially from the 16th to the 18th centuries.
We're talking hundreds of millions of ounces of silver.
A staggering amount. It literally restructured the Chinese economy around this global appetite.
But culturally, the value placed on it in the West was, it was almost absurd.
It was unparalleled. In China, its use was strictly controlled by imperial decrees. In Europe, it fueled an absolute collecting frenzy among the nobility.
Which brings us to my favorite anecdote about Augustus II. Tell us that one.
It's just stunning. Augustus II of Saxony, he famously traded 600 of his own trained soldiers, his dragoons,
800 armament.
to the King of Prussia. And in return, he got just 127 pieces of Chinese porcelain.
For crockery, that is the definition of perceived value.
It is, but that kind of monopoly couldn't last forever, of course.
No.
The technology spread in East Asia, but the global monopoly finally cracked when European chemists succeeded in firing their own hard-paste porcelain.
That was Meissen in Germany, right?
Yeah.
Early 18th century.
That's the one. Before that, you had other cultures, like in the Islamic world, that were trying to imitate the idea of it with different methods, like fritware.
So wrapping this all up, porcelain's story is this incredible illustration of chemistry enabling commerce.
It is, that relentless pursuit of high purity and high heat. It solved basic human needs for storage and hygiene.
And in the process, it just fundamentally shaped global trade, status, and aesthetics for, half a millennium?
And I think the lasting insight to leave you with is this: that whole effort to create something so perfectly durable and beautiful.
Pushing kilns to temperatures people had never even imagined before.
It was an early lesson in advanced material science. That chase for purity and extreme temperature control, it laid the groundwork for modern industrial manufacturing centuries before the Industrial Revolution even began.